Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for that improvisation drama. Thank you, Av. Well done. That story you can actually find in the Bible, maybe not with a few of the elaborations. So you might like to look up 1 Kings 17 over lunch, and you might like to read it and check it out, and you can find out all about it. And I'm just going to talk really briefly now for a few minutes. Now, when I say the word wadi, guys, at the front on the blue mats, children, can you stand up for me? Can you all stand up? Can you all turn around? That's it, you've been sitting for a while. In fact, adults, would you like to stand? And children, would you like to just turn around? They do this at school, they tell me. Just have a little, shake, and you can sit down again. Beautiful. Don't shake any hips out or anything. Just a gentle shake. Sit down, that's great. Wonderful. So when I say wadi, I'm going to say the word wadi, guys. You've just got to pretend you're drinking. Can you do that for me? I'm going to explain what a wadi is in a bit. Great, very good. Down the front row, please, as well. Thank you. Very good, very good. Okay, and when I say ravens, I want you to flap your arms, guys. Very good. Come on. This is my one opportunity to make you look great. It looks amazing. Well done. Good to see. Everybody's doing it. Brilliant. Lucy, come on, very good. Lucy, in fact, would you like to give a round of applause to Lucy? Lucy's our youth worker. Every time I say this, she's going to do these actions with Helen, because she really wants to. Okay. Oh, you're coming up? Oh, you can stay down there if you want. That's perfect, that's perfect, perfect. Okay. Elijah was a prophet, and a prophet is a person chosen by God to bring a message. And God chose Elijah. And Elijah's authority and right to be heard did not come from his family background, his education, or his own wisdom. His authority came from God. God did amazing things through Elijah, and we've just heard a bit of that story. It's said that Elijah was one of the most famous and most dramatic of Israel's prophets. He had a single-minded commitment to God. He put God first. And God did some remarkable miracles. And we'll check them out in a minute. We should pause and remember that God did it all through Elijah, because Elijah had accepted God as his friend. He'd accepted knowing God. And each one of us can do that, from the very youngest down here to John T, to the very oldest, Ray Clark at the back. He wasn't listening. I'm just getting your attention, Ray. It's nice to see you, sir. I hope the barbecue was good last night. Nice to see you. Each one of us, if we know God, he can use us. Elijah was brave when he went and spoke to King Ahab. It was quite funny seeing Avatar doing that, but King Ahab would not have messed around. He would not have messed around. So when Elijah went up to him, it was scary stuff. Check out 1 Kings 17 over lunch, guys. All of you at the front here, when you get home, say, Mum, Dad, whoever cares for you, Nanny or Granddad, can you check out 1 Kings 17 and read the story? And it's really cool. It's there. There's this amazing detailed account. I'm just going to read 4 verses now. As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, before whom I stand, there shall be neither dew nor rain these years, except by my word. The word of the Lord came to him, saying, go from here and turn eastward and hide yourself by the wadi, come on, children, the wadi, great, which is east of Jordan. You shall drink from the wadi, and I have commanded the ravens, they're silent ravens, to feed you there. Thank you, Avatar. Elijah did what God asked him. Elijah was out in the wilderness, but God did not forget about him. Elijah had fresh water to drink from the brook. And do you know what a wadi is? A wadi is a part of the valley, a channel that fills up when it rains, but is often dry. And the ravens brought food to him. And has anyone here seen ravens before? Where have you seen ravens? Where have you seen ravens, guys? Can anybody remember? Come on. Can anybody remember? Tower of London. Do you know, I learned something about ravens. Mrs. Pope, would you like to come down with your son for a moment? I'd love to have a little chat. It'll be really special. God, it's good to see you joining in. Get your mum to do it as well, is that okay? Do you know, they're large black birds, and they're one of the smartest birds there are. And when it comes to intelligence, they rate up there with chimpanzees and dolphins. I never knew that. God used his creation to bring food to Elijah. God provided for his faithful prophet. Each morning and every evening, the birds brought a variety of food to him. God provided as God provides for us. Finally, though, the wadi had dried up, but God found another remarkable way. He sent Elijah off. And this is what it says. Then the word of the Lord came to him, saying, go now to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and live there, for I have commanded a widow there to feed you. So he went out and set off for that place. I just love the way that he's so obedient to what God wants. When he arrived, he asked for a little water. No problem with a little water. But then Elijah asked for some food. And what did the lady say? She was a bit, but all I've got is oil and flour, and I'm going to make a meal. But the widow didn't want to do it to start with, but she did it in the end. God did something amazing for Elijah and that widow. For as long as they needed the oil and the flour, it did not run out. It did not run out. God provided for Elijah, and Elijah trusted God. And then another amazing miracle. Can you imagine? The widow's son died. And what does God do? He uses Elijah again. And God brought the son back. Wow, what an amazing thing. God provided as Elijah trusted God. God used Elijah. Do I let God use me? God provided on his terms for Elijah. And I'm sure at different points, Elijah wondered what on earth was going on. When God directed him to the wadi, come on guys at the front, well done, to the wadi. But God knew what he was doing, and Elijah trusted him. When God sent him to the widow, he went, and God worked a miracle. God provided, but he also used others to provide. God used the widow to provide the flour and the oil to make the bread. God took what she had and used it beautifully to bring nourishment to her family, but also to Elijah. How are we going to allow God to use us? I love harvest time because it's an opportunity to stop, to be grateful for all the good things that God gives us. But it's also a time to maybe just stop and think about others. This poem spoke to me. Today I stood at my window and shouted at the pouring rain. Today a desperate farmer prayed for his fields of grain. My weekend plans are ruined. It almost makes me cry, while the farmer lifts his arms and blesses the clouded sky. The alarm went off on Monday, and I cursed my work routine. Next door, a laid-off office worker fills the empty pockets of his jeans. I can't wait for my holiday, some time to take for me. He doesn't know tonight how he'll feed his family. I curse my leaky roof and the grass I need to mow. A homeless man in my town checks for change in the telephone. I need a new car, mine is getting really old. He huddles in a doorway seeking shelter from the cold. With blessings I'm surrounded, the rain, a job, a home. Though my eyes are often blinded by the things I think I own. Hands up here if you watch BBC News. Hands up here if you watch Sky News. You can keep your hands up. So Sky News, put your hands up. BBC News, put your hands up. Anybody watch Newsround? Yeah, Newsround. Hands up if you watch Newsround at school. I nearly put mine up, but I'm not at school. It's been a while. Okay, great. Well, what I want us to do is we're going to have a time now where we can be still. I'd like one or two of you might like to pray for our world, because there's stuff going on in it, and it breaks my heart. Maybe it's the earthquake in Mexico. Maybe it's other things you just want to bring before the Lord. I'm going to ask you to all be really still. Pop your pens down, and we're going to pray to God. And when we pray, it's just us talking to God and telling him how we're feeling about stuff and asking him to intervene.